The hook I'm using, this is a Patriot. It's a size 6 silver. Thread I'm going to be using is a uni thread 80 in black. And I'm going to start the thread at the eye, come down 2 or 3 turns or so, and remove the waste piece. Then we tie in some oval silver tinsel, and this is a small. Going to catch in at this point, and then basically tie it in the way down. This just saves a bit of bulk. Work my way down until I'm in line with the point of the hook. There we go. And then I'm going to wind 4 to 5 turns down, just round the bend to form the tag. Bring the thread, the oval tinsel between the hooks. Bring it underneath and you'll see there. And basically what that does is lock it in. Catch it in with a good 4 or 5 turns. Oops. And then, now 1/3 of the body is blue floss, so I'm going to measure that by trimming it there. The tail, it's golden pheasant crest. This is a golden pheasant crest here. Now I've dyed this Sunburst, you see it's much stronger. Now in the bigger flies, it's certainly worthwhile putting 2 on. Just to sort of add a bit more colour and depth to it. Smaller ones, just you need one's plenty. And just put one on top of the other, same length. Just make sure they're curving up the way. The length, try that up to yourself. You can have them quite long, some people do. I'm just going to have a standard length tail, which is just basically around about the shank length if you had to stretch it out. A couple of turns, I'm just going to hold it at this point just to position the fibres. You see that nice the curve there? Just going to bring them in together a wee bit. Make sure it's secure and on the right point, and then trim it that same again, that first third of the body. Now what I'm going to do here is tidy up this area. Take the thread up. And then the way back down we tie in again the oval tinsel, the same one. I'm just going to offer it upside down just so I can catch it in. And as you can see I'm just winding down towards the tail. Now we're ready for our floss. This is the floss I'm going to use. It's a kind of medium blue. Nice colour. All I'm going to do is just basically fold it around the thread, slide it up, pull it in to full length of the first third of the body, and then bring the thread up, keep it nice and tidy, and then just basically build your body up. Now I'm just overlapping each turn as I go, just to thicken it up a wee bit. And then I'm happy I get to this point, 3 or 4 turns or so to make sure it's secure. Trim away the waist. Bring your rib up through. Around about probably 3 turns or so. Finish up with the oval tinsel underneath. Again, what I'm doing here is basically looking at a head length. If you imagine that being a head length at that point, trim away your oval tinsel. I mean, this would be like the hackle's going to be in there, so if you were at the top, they're much the same sort of distance. You can see the nice colour you get from it. Now what I'm going to do here is slightly different. I'm going to add a hackle. Now what this does, it adds a bit more colour to just the back, even though it's blue. Now you could change this could be orange, it could be a few other colours. And this is just a same blue as the Blue Doctor type colour. This is a badger saddle, and basically I've dyed it to get this nice colour. First thing I'm going to do is just remove some of the fluff at the back so that I can separate these fibres from the fluff. I tie it in by the tip. Just basically pull it back, and then the good side of the hackle facing myself. 2 or 3 turns down, fold the tip back, come back up, and then basically back down. That's it. Well tied in. I'm just going to break away, point to the hackle, and then fold. Slightly fold these fibres back, and then you do one turn in front of the other. Depending on how heavy you want it, size of the fly, I want to use it all up. There we go. Cross your thread, and then just make sure it's staying underneath. When you're happy, trim away the waste. I'm just going to work my way back up towards the eye. Now you must give yourself around about 3mm to work with the wing, and there's 2 hackles, so give yourself 3 to 4mm depending on the thread you're using. Now I'm going to get my oval tinsel again. Basically catch this in underneath. Start to work my way back down. I'll just keep under it like this so you can see what I'm doing. Get some black floss. Just again, this is just a rayon black floss. Simple. And again, just gonna fold it around the thread. Slide it up. Loose turns just to pull it in. Once you're happy, then you can tighten up. Take your thread up to the point where you're tying in your first hackle. Form your body with the floss. That's fine. 3 or 4 turns to make sure it's secure. Trim away the excess. Bring your rib up through. Now try and keep it in the same angle as the body at the back. About 4 turns in this case. Make sure again it's secure. Trim away the excess. I just usually rub it with my nail, which will flatten, and then I can tidy up. And there we are. Nice fly, nice colour combination. Even better. Now, what I'm going to add in here is a peacock neck feather. It's a natural blue feather. Show it here. And there's a couple of ways you can actually tie this in. If you see the colour, the blue is really intense. Nice colour going towards green. The length, just towards the back of the hook. Now you can wind it on, or you can roll it on. Now, if you're buying packs of these feathers, you'll not get the right size. So what I'm going to show you, it's quite simple. How to form like basically a rolled or a false hackle, but it's all the way around. Just bringing out the tips and lining them up. And then what I do then is, it's quite simple. I just roll them round to miss or just to mix them up like this. Get the length that you want. It could be short, long, whatever. You can basically then choose the length of the false hackle you want. So I'm just it towards the back of the hook, and what I would do is just hold it on the side, then allow the thread turn to encourage these fibres all the way around. 2 or 3 turns to hold it. Then you can basically bring out these fibres so they're all the way around, and that gives you like a false hackle. Now I'm going to wind the hackle, so that's one way of doing it, or using up the feathers you have. Especially, it's very good for doing small flies. There's another hackle here. I'm going to wind this one. I'm going to tie it in by the tip. First thing you do is take away the fluff. Anyway, most of it, so you can keep some for a handle. And say reveal the tip of the hackle. Just offer it to the side. Get the front of the feather facing yourself. 2 or 3 turns down, fold it back. Break off the tip. And then all the way around, you're only going to get a turn and a bit. And there we go. Come and catch the hackle. Make sure you keep it nice and tight. Make sure it's well tied in. You can break that off. Now I'm just twisting these fibres round so they sit right. There we are. That's the difference between rolling it and winding it. You get a more open tight fibre, a better. It looks much better, but once it's in the water it should look much the same. Flash. This is mirror flash in red and blue. Mirror flash is this one. It's a mobile type flash. 2 colours I'm using is well, there's the red, and then obviously then there's the blue. Now take 2 strands out, have them different lengths. You can see that. It's the back of the wing. Just catch this in the top, 2 or 3 turns, fold it so you're doubling up, and when you trim this away you trim it again to the length, different lengths, so they separate. The wing, just going to use, this is Black Bear, it's obviously tied. Length you're looking, depends, you can have it really short if you want, it's a standard size. Don't have to obviously reduce the length of the flash. You could have it maybe 1.5 the wing length, which is quite a nice length, and it suits it. So just going to look at the length I want, and I'm happy I can trim it away from the skin. Come in, just pinch and loop it on the top, nice and tight, and then come in with a good 6 tight turns, trim away the excess. Now what you can do, make sure it's not going to pull out because it's quite stiff here, is to run some varnish or super glue onto your thread and then tighten onto these cut ends, nice and tight. Clean up the area. Just be careful if you're using super glue, you don't become stuck to your fly. Just watch what you're doing. Now we have a bit of hen hackle dyed black in front. It's just a Chinese. And we tie again, and we tie this in by the tip. So reel the tip of the hackle. Moving the thread back up, ready to catch it in. 2 or 3 turns down, fold back the tip, come back up over the top. Break it off, keeping the thread tight. And then we can fold the hackle and do 3 to 4 turns, depending on how good the hackle is. This is a size 6, so it's basically equivalent to a 1-inch tube, so just to give you an idea. And that should do it. 90-degree bend into the stem. Just keep it open, allow the thread turns to come into the stem of the feather, and trim away the excess, and then tidy up. Now I'm just going to make sure I tied in these ends here. With your fingers, can I get used to jagging your fingers in some of these hooks? Form a nice head. Now we're ready for our jungle cut. 2 medium to small eyes. Two eyes here. Now you've seen the underside here. Now what I'm going to do is just make sure they're lined up. Pull it back. Fluff that you don't want. Get the length of the eye just on the sides. Now you come round with 2 or 3 turns. I've got wax on my thread here just to make sure it's not going to slip. Tighten up a couple of turns more. At this point I'm just going to check the length. Just in the mid, say 2/3 down the body. Just check, look on top, make sure they're sitting right. Make sure they're the same length. Sitting where you want. Now for security you could fold these back, which I'm going to do. I'm just going to pull them back. Which does add a wee bit of bulk to the head, but I'd rather do that than the jungle cock pulling out. Just make sure you get a few turns in there nice and tight. Get the thread tight and then break it off. Throw away this feather. If you can break them off, it's neater. It's always going to be much neater. Just see how they're sitting. It's okay. Yep. There you go, all the way around. It's a nice fly when you see it. It looks always better looking once it's had a swim, like any fly does. And I'm going to get some more of the mirror flash. In this case I'm just going to get a piece of the blue. There we are. And what I'm going to do is just catch it on at the top, a couple of turns and pull it into the end. A couple more turns to make sure it's not going to move. And then we can come down with a small highlight on the head, follow up, just basically tie it off like you would do a hackle. Now I'm keeping the thread tight and trim away the waste. Keep that for your next fly. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going to a couple of wipes of the wax on it, just to stop it slipping on me. Just form a nice head, nice and tight. Get your quick finishing tool. And come in and 3 to 4 turns is plenty. Tighten up on the quick finish. Show you the thread. There's a wee fibre here, I'm just going to trim that out. There we go. Now what I like to do is, for speed anyway, if you get some super glue, just come in and just lightly touch the head all the way around. Don't touch the feathers. There's a wee fibre there, but what happens sometimes, if you've got some that's a wee fine fibre, I use the back of my nail. Just give the super glue a second and then just press it lightly with the back of your nail. I can get rid of that wee fibre, just pressing it or gluing it to the head. It means you get a better shape. The super glue dries really quick. I mean within seconds it dries. And then I usually finish off a couple of coats of varnish or so. All the way around. And basically there's your Paul Young special. Nice fly, good fun to tie. And I'm sure it'll catch you a few fish. So I hope you enjoyed that.